Let's talk about the twin flame template and what it is supposed to teach us. If you've been watching my videos, then you already probably noticed that my view of what a twin flame is shifted over the time the more I learned about metaphysics and of course having downloads. And now I believe that we do live in a holographic universe, as more and more physicists and scientists prove right now and do their research on. And if that is true, then everything is, as Neville Goddard already said, as pushed out. So every person you encounter is a reflection of your own inner world, your own inner thoughts, your own experience, your own assumptions. And there can be general assumptions about people in general, or about people with, I don't know, red hair, gender, age, anything. Those are subconscious programs. And those are getting mirrored back.
Oh, my love, Janine, I'm helpless for your smile.
Your person, your romantic interest, and it doesn't matter if twin flame or not, is the 3D reflection of your own inner divine feminine or masculine, depending on what energy you are dominant. And I say dominant because just like the yin-yang symbol, we all have the other energy within us as well, and we all have an inner child, an inner feminine, inner masculine. It doesn't matter what gender we are or what sexual orientation. So let's start talking a little bit about karmic connections. What are karmic connections? Well, you have this inner imbalance. We get programmed in the first 7 years of our lives, because then our brain is mainly in theta brain waves, and that is the best way to get programmed. However, you can get programmed also when you are awake. That sounded weird because as children you are awake, but nevertheless your brain is mostly in theta waves. When we're adults, we can enter theta waves when we are in trance, like meditating, deep trance, or the moment when we fall asleep or wake up, or phases in between the REM sleeping phase, maybe theta brainwave state as well. And that is a time when we are especially open to suggestions, affirmations, and we just like suck everything in like a big sponge. And that is children in the first 7 years of their lives. So that is when we get programmed. And of course we observe our surroundings, we observe mom and dad, their relationship. We do observe grandparents, uncles, neighbors, teachers, kindergartners, whatever it is, all the people around us. And that programs who we are. In astrology, for example, the moon and the south node are very much talking about our childhood, and you will most likely find traits of that in your birth chart that will tell you something about your childhood. So if, for example, mom was not very much there in that time, maybe she was absent a lot because she had to work a lot, or she had to take care of siblings or anything else, maybe there was a separation because you or mom had to go to the hospital or anything else, or maybe mom was there but she was not very nurturing, or maybe the opposite, she was very smothering. That of course can cause some kind of damage within us, and then we create the anxious or avoidant, or the anxious avoidant attachment style. And those programs, they run when we're adults, and then we of course attract mirrors that show us our programs, and we can reprogram that. So karma is that there is something within yourself. For example, mom maybe let you scream in your crib, and then you were programmed with, when I need someone, no one is there. My needs are not being met. And then you will attract people who evoke that same emotion within you, even though it is subconscious, because most likely you won't remember being like 5 months old laying in your crib and crying. So karma is that inner imbalance, and then we attract somebody who mirrors the same again and again and again. And if you don't break that pattern, then the next person will be the same. That is why we often have this red thread, and a person who gets cheated on, maybe you will attract the next cheater and the next and the next. But if we do evolve in that time, then the next person we attract will be, let's say, better. Not in a judgmental way, but better to us, will feel better, it will be a little bit easier. And the more we evolve, the easier our love connections become. If we don't evolve, then we will never break that cycle, and we will not end in that happy relationship that we desire. So now, let's say you already have healed some of that stuff, and you are now in the energy where you could attract a divine counterpart or twin flame in order to ascend and heal even more. If you still are in this really unhealed energy, you won't be anywhere in the vicinity to be able to attract a high vibrational, like divine counterpart. But let's say you now attracted a true twin flame, which is secondary about love and romance and primary about the ascension and healing journey. And with this person, you feel like they are part of you. You feel more connected than you ever felt with anyone before. You feel that they are part of you. You feel their energy, maybe even if they're absent. You know what they're thinking just by looking at them, and then you will see that yes, they confirm what you were thinking. And you have these experiences and you think, oh my God, that is because they're the other half of my soul. By the way, I do have a video, Is My Twin Flame the Other Half of My Soul? You can watch that. But you feel a special connection, more special than ever before. And by connection, I really mean connected on higher levels. And earlier I was talking about the twin flame template. I call it a twin flame template when we meet someone and that ascension and healing journey gets triggered. Because again, that is vital in a twin flame connection. If that is missing, it cannot possibly be a twin flame. Even if you already are awakened, then there will be more ascension and more growth that gets triggered by that person. But everyone is as pushed out. Everyone is a mirror of what is going within us. And the twin flame is not more mirror. It feels more intense, and that is a template. It feels more intense because the twin flame comes into your life to help you realize that you are connected with the all that is. But first you feel it with that special person. And then as you ascend, you will realize, oh my God, this is not a unique thing. It feels, again, specifically strong because they are the primary reflection, 3D reflection of your own inner divine feminine or masculine. If you're the feminine, you're masculine. So you did create them. And that is why you feel this especially attached. However, you will realize I create everyone sooner or later. And then the twin flame was just the first step to introduce you to this concept of being that much connected to someone, to feel them as part of yourself. But as you ascend, you will grow beyond that and you will realize, oh my God, every person out there is part of myself. So that is what the twin flame template is there. It is a tool that brings awakening and that teaches connection, not just with that one person, but you will realize everyone is part of me. And that is beautiful, right? So yeah, that is the purpose of the twin flame. It is mainly the healing and ascension, and then in ascension realizing we are all connected, we are all one soul, and the twin flame is not more one soul with me than anyone else. Because if we live in a hologram, everything that pops into your hologram that is getting mirrored back to you is basically the same. We just perceive things as different because we put our assumptions into something, we put our emotions into something, and we define something, and then that is of course getting mirrored back to us. So I'm not saying that when you are in this twin flame relationship that is any less special, and you will probably still feel more connected to that person who is sitting next to you than to a person sitting across the world that you've never met, right? So it is not that you don't need this physical connection. We're humans, we all crave that physical connection, physical touch and cuddling and all of that. So I'm not trying to diminish that. So of course this person will always be special to you, but still a person will be the key for you to realize it's not just them I'm that connected with, it is everyone. I'm very much looking forward to your comments. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and check out the entire Twin Flame 101 playlist, because you will find everything Twin Flame related in there, and I do have over 120 videos. If you want personal coaching, of course you can reach out. I see you maybe in personal coaching or in another video. Until then, I do wish you all the best now. Bye bye.